Here's another question we got. What does Jesus mean when he tells me to carry my cross, and how do I do it? Now, obviously, this is a reference to Mark 8:34, which says this: if anyone would come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. Now, to answer this question, we need to understand and look at the structure of this one verse. It starts with, if anyone would come after me, and then it ends with, follow me. And clearly the main idea of what Jesus says here is about following him. And then sandwiched right in between, we have these two actions that followers of Christ must do: deny yourself and carry your cross. Therefore, to follow Christ is to deny self and carry your cross. But then again, we should ask, what does denying self and carrying your cross mean? Now, one of the most foundational questions we need to ask in studying the scriptures is, what did it mean to the original audience? What did denying self and carrying the cross meant to those who Jesus spoke to in Mark chapter 8? And it's an important question because the scriptures cannot mean to us what it didn't mean to them. And even though the way we apply biblical truth nowadays can be a bit different, the meaning stays the same. It cannot mean to us what it didn't mean to them. So before we ask, what does it mean to me, we need to ask ourselves and find out what it meant to them. So let's look at these two actions, denying self and carrying the cross. Most of us, because we jump into what does it mean for me, assume that denying self means that we must not give self what it wants, especially since our self desires things against God's will. So I deny myself the opportunities to sin, and that is pleasing to God. I deny myself opportunities to judge, gossip, or belittle people, and that is truly pleasing to God. But if you do a quick search, a very simple search of the word deny in the Bible, as I did, you will discover that most of the passages that come out are about Peter's denial of Jesus. When you search about denial, you see Peter denying Jesus. So I ask myself, did Peter ever deny Jesus food when he was hungry? Did Peter ever deny Jesus water when he was thirsty? Actually, did Peter deny Jesus anything at all? Well, no, not really. But Peter denied Jesus himself. He didn't deny Jesus stuff, he denied Jesus himself. And then another quick search of the original word for deny, we discover that in denying Jesus, Peter claimed to have no knowledge of or relationship to Jesus. It means to disregard, reject, deny with repudiation and disavow. So Peter denies that he knows Jesus. Peter denies that he has any associations with Jesus. Denial, therefore, is the intentional disassociation from a relationship with a particular person. In his denial, Peter disassociated himself from Jesus, renounced Jesus, and rejected Jesus. Self-denial, then, is the intentional disassociation from relationship with self. Self-denial is rejecting and disavowing the self and stepping away from relationship with the self. If you are associated with self more than to Christ, then you're not following Christ. And if you pledge your allegiance to self more than to Christ, you are not a follower of Christ. Secondly, we must understand cross-bearing in its context as well. What most of us know is that crucifixion was a death penalty reserved especially for the worst of criminals who had rebelled against authority. And we know that the people were angry with Jesus because he rebelled against the religious authority and against the government of those times. So Jesus was considered a criminal that rebelled against authority. To carry your cross referred to the practice of forcing a criminal, a condemned criminal, to take up the cross to his place of execution. It would be like asking an offender nowadays to carry his own electric chair to the room where he's going to be executed. Carrying the cross, the very thing that will bring death, was the ultimate sign of submission and humiliation for the offender whose last act in life would be to carry the instrument of his own demise to the place of his death. So to carry your own cross then is a call to be in complete submission to Jesus Christ, in the same way that the condemned criminal was in complete submission to his own death. When we deny ourselves and carry our cross, we recognize Jesus as the ultimate authority over our lives. Following Jesus means disowning and disassociating from the self and pledging allegiance to Jesus instead. So invest time in discovering what pleases Him. Divorce from your own self as you pursue intimacy with Jesus. Read your Bible and pray, because that's where you discover Christ. Turn away from self-centeredness and don't let self-interest be the compass of your life. Take up your cross by saying yes to God's will and His desires and His ways, and adopt the same attitude as Jesus, who, knowing He was about to carry His own cross, said to His Father in heaven, "Not my will, but yours be done." Followers of Jesus deny themselves and carry their cross by consistently dwelling and delighting in Jesus and in His presence and following Him and His desires throughout their lives, no matter the cost. God bless you. If you have any other questions, please feel free to email them at ask@vision-church.com or just reply in the comments. Have a good day.